You know, Alexis might actually be sprung on this man because I'll be damned if you're gonna have me koala bear hugging a man on television after 6 days. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie. For those who don't know me, reviewing Married at First Sight season 15, episode 6. Yeah, all right. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. There's so much, there's so many notes in this damn episode. I feel like this is the only time where the 2 hours actually made sense because there is so much information. So if we are here for 30 minutes, I apologize in advance. We're gonna start with Kristen and Mitch. So Kristen informs the wives that Mitch isn't feeling her on a physical level.
We started drinking, we were getting margaritas. He pounced on me like a tiger. We have to be Team Mitch. We have to. He's my husband. I know. I make the rules now. Yeah. And it's not gonna happen this way.
So on one hand, I'm happy that she's still trying to reiterate to the women, hey, it's still Team Mitch. Don't demonize him. This is natural. It happens. That's great. I do have a concern that too much defending is what leads her to be in these relationships where she's missing the glaring red flags, you know? And with Mitch, yes, the way that he handled it concerning the drinks and stuff wasn't that great. I think their initial conversation at dinner where he was saying, listen, physically, I'm just not there. I think that was handled the best that you could handle it. But yeah, him kind of going back on that and being more physical with her after being intoxicated, that's where things get murky and stuff. So yeah, presenting as a united front is great and all, but still be aware of problematic behaviors and check it instead of trying to protect someone's perception all the time. Kristen says she loves that Alexis is so straightforward and is really diving into this experiment, so she commissions her for some advice.
He hasn't been in a serious relationship in a very long time.
So how committed is it? If it's starting to feel like a relationship and he hasn't been in a relationship for a long time, that's something. My superficial way almost had me miss the greatest blessing of my life. Mm-hmm.
Can Mitch be a better person than the one he's been in previous relationships? Absolutely. Do I think that is going to happen? No. And the reason is he is in his 40s. He's 41, no? On top of that, what work has he done prior to coming to the show to dismantle some of the ideologies that he has, the problematic behaviors that he has, the toxic traits that we all carry, but it seems like he's really holding on to those? I don't know. Also, the conversation with his family, I don't remember hearing any redeemable qualities from Mitch. So I do believe he has the capability of being a better person than the one he's been before, of course. I just don't see an effort being made both prior to the show and during the show. That's just personal. I could now just be jaded and I'm refusing to see the development. Really take in, the family did not say one good thing about the person that they love, the person that they've known his entire life. The sister-in-law was like, oh yeah, he's prideful and he's rude and I'm just like, if he hasn't taken the steps before coming on the show, what would be the incentive now? At the end of the episode, Mitch does admit that he handled the situation not so great. And he says to Kristen, it's okay if you want to keep me accountable.
Don't put so much pressure on me that you shut me down.
Yeah.
Don't just always give me the free pass either. You know what I mean? Like,
To be honest with you, I would like a husband that wants me.
Either that night or the next night or something, they had almost had sex again. And I'm just, see, that's what makes me think, like, I don't know if he's actually gonna change. Like, I don't know if them almost having sex was alcohol induced again, but it just seems like him pursuing her now is him succumbing to an animalistic response rather than an actual genuine attraction for Kristen. That's just how I feel. I could have it all wrong. Y'all could have perceived that scene differently to me than what I perceived it. So to me, I'm still very skeptical of Mitch. Morgan and Ben are one of the couples who still haven't consummated. At this point, I think it's only one couple that's consummated, but they are a little bit more physical. They're touchy-feely and all that stuff. They have a date where they talk about how they're going to get to know each other better, and Ben proposes that they need to have intentional and open communication to really, dive deeper than the surface, blah, 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 all that stuff, right? Clearly, this is foreshadowing. Ben has had concerns that Morgan's life isn't compatible with his life because he was looking for somebody who matches him in terms of family and finances.
When somebody doesn't have a strong relationship with their family, it's a question mark for me. I'm trying to build right now. I'm trying to build financial freedom right now, and I'm not sure how that aligns with everything. I was super open, wanted this, even read books, and was 100% honest from the beginning.
I feel like in this moment, Ben baited her. I feel like he did. Because one, he's bombarding her with all this information. At first, he was talking about, I want to get to know your family life more. But it was almost like he was looking for issues so he could be like, well, I come from a family that's kind of like this, and I want to integrate my wife into my family and me into hers. And so if your family is not all the way together, it kind of felt like, what's happening here? And then he hit her with the whole finances thing. I'm financially stable. I'm trying to work on being financially free. And so you having student debt, all of that stuff, it doesn't work for him. And then he throws a whammy, y'all. He's like, when I applied for this, I said I was going to be completely authentic. And he's basically insinuating the fact that she withheld information that she had one more course on her bachelor's in nursing, even though she's been working as a nurse.
In my mind, I'm like, wait, she's not a nurse yet? So she told the expert something else?
Well, you're treating like I lied to you.
It's the lie that I'm done with school. I'm not done with school.
It's not my nursing program. It's a bachelor's degree. Like, I am a nurse. I've been working as a nurse this entire time. Ben went behind my back and told Justin that I've been lying.
I want to know your guys' opinion on this whole situation, because for me, I don't believe that it was malicious intent when she withheld that information, but it could be seen as deceitful from Ben's side. And then also, if it wasn't that big of a deal, I don't know why she was so adamant on keeping it a secret from people. I just feel like, girl, if you're already working as a nurse and you just got one more course in order to get a pay raise, then it's not that big of a deal. But then on the other hand, I'm like, I don't know why Ben is making her out to seem like she's a pathological liar and she must lie about everything now, and to run to Justin to call her out on something that you could have just had more conversations with her about. I don't know what side to be on. I'm more leaning towards Morgan, just because Ben didn't have to make it into a thing. He could have just said, okay, you say you're a nurse, but you have one more course. What's that about? She could have easily said, it's because I'm working towards getting a pay raise. However, this is my career that I have been working in for years now. Problem solved. Why are you running to another man to basically call your wife as a liar? I don't know. Ben is reeling because, he just had this altercation with Morgan about taking her business to other people. So a way that he's going to try and rectify it is by taking his business to other people.
She thinks that she got stabbed in the back, which through the process she did, but it wasn't intentional.
I think you deserve the perfect wife, because I know from knowing you, you're going to be the perfect husband. When a woman is lucky to have you and vice versa, it's important to be truthful,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying, about everything.
People are not going to be perfect. We all have our flaws, even people in marriages. I know people who have been in marriages 6-7 years and are like, I'm just learning this lesson about my husband. I'm just learning this about my wife. And they're 6-7 years in. You think you're going to find somebody perfect in 6 days? Come on now. Also, just because Justin, to his belief, he has been matched with his dream girl, does not mean that's going to be the storyline for everybody. It also doesn't mean that just because you aren't partnered with someone who isn't your dream person, that it's not going to work. There's still potential for their relationship to work, even though they're not exactly matched to the T. Everything is perfect. So Justin, I didn't like that advice. At dinner with all the couples, Morgan couldn't be more clear that she has no plans on being a Stepford housewife.
I need someone who's going to be able to take care of themselves, because when I get home, I can't take care of him. I don't want to come home and keep taking care of people.
How does Ben fit into this situation?
That's what I was
That's the hard part.
I believe that her history with wanting to be independent from her father, independent from was it like insecurities? Was she bullied as well? There was a lot of stuff that made her want to be this strong, independent woman. I think she's gone to like the far end of the pendulum at this point, because she's so independent that you wonder, is there enough space for your partner? You know, it almost feels like she wanted to be married in order to have the aesthetic of, look at me, I'm a married woman, I have a husband, but can he be your partner? Does he have space to really show up and support you, and it be vice versa? I get what she was saying in that she's a working woman, she's busy, she has a life of her own, she can't be coming home and being a parent or a caretaker to somebody else. But the way that she was talking was almost like, be about your business, I'm gonna be about your business, we're gonna come and still just be about our business and then resume the next day. It just felt like there wasn't gonna be a partnership in this marriage. On to Lindy and Miguel. Lindy tells the women that she is officially a married woman in biblical terms.
We're doing what married couples do. It was natural. It was, there was no pressure. It was really nice.
I felt holy, if you will. I felt like empowered by a divine being.
I mean, Miguel was hoping for any kind of sex, even if it was mediocre. Those were literally his words. So I'm not surprised that he was not against the idea. I still have an issue with him kind of making a mockery of Christianity when he talks about sex. I do. He already said that he doesn't believe in a higher power per se. That also doesn't mean that he denounces the potential of there being a higher power, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I know Lindy is SDA or was raised SDA and we share that history, that I know for me, although I don't relate with it the way that I used to growing up, it's still a part of who I am. So I don't need you making a mockery of it. So there's an interesting conversation that Lindy, Stacia, and Morgan had. I'm going to touch on it a little bit more in Stasia's segment, but Lindy did say that she wasn't coerced to have sex with Miguel, right? But the way that Miguel is just so like sex, I want sex, da-da-da-da, it makes me feel like, maybe you weren't coerced in the moment, but you definitely felt this pressure. And she does kind of let it slip that there is a pressure in a relationship that she's feeling on her.
You want to fall in love with me, but you need to see the emotional side. You need to be attracted to my intellectual, my physical. Like, of course, I want us to fall in love too, but it's like, holy everything I'm saying and doing, I'm like, is this in his box? Is this outside of his box?
Well, don't do that.
Like,
the way that I perceived this conversation was that there are certain things that need to be in place for Miguel to fall in love with somebody. She's seeing this as, oh, you're my husband, it is what it is. How can I fulfill those things to get you to fall in love with me? I think sex was one of them. I do. And that's unfortunate because I feel like at this point she's racing with the clock, because he even said this is an 8-week process for him. He's not necessarily seeing this as a long-term thing. This is the trial period. He signed up, for a free trial. He's gonna see if he wants to commit to the full subscription in about 2 months. I do have to play devil's advocate, even though the devil doesn't need one. I don't know why Lindy is surprised. Miguel has already said that most of his relationships are about this long, 2 to 3 months, and then he dips. So he's kind of staying true to his character. Later on in the evening at dinner with the rest of the couple, he's like questioning whether or not he could even be in love with Lindy.
Do I have it in me? And that's something I need to answer for myself. Because
That's fair.
No,
I think that's
fair.
Okay.
That is not.
that's
sorry.
fair. I'm marrying a stranger. I don't know who the is gonna show up.
Were you even like in the mindset of wanting to even get married?
Thank you.
Although I do think that Justin and Alexis are hitting the ground running and they could end up getting all bruised up, I still have to commend them on believing that this will be their forever coupling, you know? So why Miguel thought that being legally married to somebody who's making that commitment, saying these vows, and wanting to be in a long-term relationship, that he's then gonna say, oh, well, you know, it's just 8 weeks for me. I'm gonna take the experiment for what it is, and then we'll decide after the fact. I think there still has to be an element of you seeing past the experiment time frame. And then also another thing for me, if you have Mitch co-signing you, babe, that should make you check yourself and say, okay, hold on now. Because Mitch is Mr. Non-committal. Mitch he gonna run away. He's gonna run away every chance he gets. So yeah, if you and Mitch are on the same accord, I would be concerned. Stacia and Nate are next, and even though they have not consummated the marriage, they both feel like, well, Nate feels like he's waiting for their goals to be aligned.
We're lacking, you know, if we have the same vision. We're lacking, you know, if we have the same goals.
I'm not buying it.
That's what I'm talking about. Come on, get comfy, baby. Get comfy.
I, too, do not buy it. I don't. I feel like Nate would be ready today in respect to when they're filming. However, Stacia, she's been seeing some pink flags, maybe not fully red flags, but some pink flags. I think that's what's holding her back. And she says she's waiting for the tension to build and for the goals to align, same thing that he said. But no, I think that she's been concerned about certain things, and as the days go on, they are like, his actions are kind of solidifying her preconceived notions of him. And so that's what's keeping her from fully committing to having sex with him. Because why are you having a shower with him naked? Why are y'all, I assume, in the bed naked if y'all could shower naked? They had a bath naked as well, and you're not engaging in sex? I think there's a barrier beyond, oh, well, we just want to make sure our values align. I don't buy it. They both say that they're working on their listening and communication skills, and Stacia takes this time to communicate that her last relationship really emphasized to her the importance of therapy.
Would you be open to you and I going to like therapy?
Like right off the bat, or like when we feel that like there's some imbalance?
To kind of give us those tools to continue to be a successful couple.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
I just hope that I'm really getting the true, authentic, genuine Nate.
When I listen to Nate talk, I feel like there's an air of unseriousness with him. Because she's talking about therapy and he's like, well, like preemptive therapy or when things go wrong. Therapy is not only for when you're in distress, like just management of relationships, rethinking your perspectives on certain things, learning to understand your partner beyond your personal understanding. Like therapy helps with all of that. So maybe that was just something that he threw out there just for conversation's sake, but I was just like, come on, like you can't be serious. So the conversation that Lindy was having with Stacia and Morgan, yeah, okay, let me just say what happened. Basically, Stacia has a feeling that Lindy was coerced into having sex with Miguel, and that's a trigger for her because in the past, she has had relationships where she would have sex in order just to keep the person.
If you're like, I don't want to have sex with you, how did that switch to where you felt comfortable? And I just wanted to make sure that it was your decision and you weren't being pressured or anything like that.
No.
Like,
I can reassure you.
Okay.
It was very mutual.
Giving yourself to someone like that, that's just something so precious.
This is the second time now that we've seen her get emotional about touchy subjects, but the subjects themselves didn't go that deep, and she was welling up. The emotions were right there at the surface, you know? The conversation about her dad not being present in her life made her emotional. Now, the potential of Lindy being coerced to have sex made her very emotional. I just think these wounds are still open. They're not quite yet scars. There's nothing wrong with scars, but open wounds, we need to treat those. While Stacia is questioning Miguel is questioning Nate.
Miguel thinks that Nate is not
genuine. He's very like, look what we're doing, look at my wife, like.
No, it's definitely something I've questioned.
Yeah.
This moment is what proved to me that there's more to them not having sex than just, we're waiting for our ghosts to align. Nah, she's seeing some red flags. She doesn't want to fully commit and then have egg on her face when this doesn't work out. That's rational for everybody. Of course, you don't want to give yourself fully and then somebody doesn't take care of you or have the intention of longevity with you. So I understand the hesitation, but I'd rather she say that as well. You can add the whole, we want our goals to be whatever, sure. But to also say that, you know, I'm seeing some things that are a cause for concern for me. And so until I iron those things out, I don't want to engage physically. I think that's also okay to say. It's early days, it's been 6 days. Nobody's gonna demonize you for that. Stacia shares that she's in the process of building a home and plans on moving Nate in. Now, why would you do that?
It's a gesture that's telling me that she's very committed to our relationship.
Basically, your wife is building you a house.
Yes.
You hit the lottery, bro.
Yeah.
Now, I know she's not building it for him. I get it. But Nate, at this point, was giving me hobosexual. Truly. Because when you mix in the day trading and, you know, the wild life that he used to live and the fact that he was looking for a boss babe and he really found one. Like, she truly is a boss babe. We can't even deny it. And so he's so eager to move in with her in her new home. And I don't know. Does it give you guys homosexual? Maybe it's just me. Stacia has a feeling that Nate likes the idea of her and maybe not her.
I'm trying to figure out, like, if you really like me, you want to be with me, do you really want to go below that surface?
Me moving into your brand new house isn't me committing to this marriage. You don't think that's me, like, committing? Are you waiting for something bad to happen or something?
No, I'm not waiting for anything bad to happen. I also have, like, insecurities about, like, being enough.
He does say that he's falling for her and she's finding it hard to believe, mainly because she has this chip on her shoulder about feeling inadequate in relationships. And also, there was something else. She knows she's a lot to handle. And I guess she has this fear that when Ish hits the fan, he's gonna run. I see it too, to be honest with you. The inadequacy thing though, see, that's another thing we gotta work on in therapy, you know? Ooh, man. Let's just touch on therapy for a quick second. I know we've been here for like over 20 minutes, but you know, you expected to be here long, so don't worry about it. Why isn't that part of the show? Because I know, like, growing up in the church, a pastor would not marry a couple who had not been through premarital counseling. And so because these people can't technically do premarital counseling because that goes against the whole married at first sight thing, have this very, like, intensive therapy beforehand. And I get it, Stacia did go to therapy, but it was off the heels of a relationship. Has she actually gone through, like, individual therapy that didn't address the downfall of the relationship, but actually her and where she's coming? I feel like that's different, right? Having studied psych, I learned so many things about myself that had nothing to do with the traumas that I thought were holding me back in life. And so to just jump into marriage and not have gone through therapy for a lot of these people, I feel like is very, it's poor taste for the experts on the show, considering that one of them is a clinical psychologist. But I get it, it's a TV show, so yeah, all right. Last but not least, we have Justin and are they last? Yes. Justin and Alexis. Alexis gives Justin the green light to drink on his guy's date, but he refuses. I don't know what that was all about, but on the guy's day, he does share that, you know, he loves her, but he's still gonna keep the celibacy title.
She's like, baby, like, whenever you're comfortable, you know what I'm saying?
You said the L word.
Right.
Like,
what's up, right?
I mean,
like, what more?
It's gonna be like, we just feeling it, and one thing's gonna lead to another.
I'm with the guys. If you love her, and if you believe that she loves you back, what's the holdup? We didn't get an answer to that, but I wonder. Alexis is talking to the women and says that she is struggling with Justin's sensitivity.
Every day I have to work to consider his feelings. And sometimes I feel guilty because it's just like, that's not how I'm naturally wired to do.
She does come off brash sometimes, so the fact that being with Justin for a week has already softened her up and she thinks before she speaks a little bit more, hey, all right. maybe he was made for you, girl. You almost cheated yourself out of this relationship because 6 months ago you would have met him and you would have experienced this already. So since Justin works from home and Alexis is the higher breadwinner here, she makes more money than he does, she questions if he's going to be okay with potentially being a house husband.
That's not
Okay, cool.
You're going into the same account?
I want to sit down and talk about budgeting and planning.
Same.
So you're gonna...
I turned into Superman, girl. Let me tell you, that was my perfect opportunity.
I actually don't think his ego will be hit by her being the primary breadwinner. He did say he loves to cater to his partner. I mean, he's staying in a small apartment so that he can wait for his partner and then they can move in a bigger apartment. You're gonna live uncomfortably for a potential of a part. Listen, this man, he will bend, potentially snap in order to keep a relationship going. So yeah, I don't think that he'll be bothered about that at all. At the couple's dinner, Alexis says that her life can be very stressful and, coming home, she needs him to be the guy that he said he's going to be. Take the dog out, have food ready, blah, 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 all that stuff. Some of the other couples are like, okay, well, I see that he's doing a lot for you, but what is Alexis going to do for Justin? And he didn't really answer. She took over.
I just like being his support system and his almost security. I'm gonna protect this man at all costs. Behind closed doors, I have a suitcase full of lingerie, y'all. Don't get it twisted.
If you remember the first few episodes, the family was basically saying that Justin needs to speak up in relationships. He tends to be walked over. And even Alexis's family saw it and asked him, how are you going to advocate for yourself in a relationship? And he didn't have an answer then. So to see her take over spirit, really take over this conversation, I was like, oh, Justin, come on, we are failing already. Speaking of taking over, Alexis's feelings have taken over, and she lets it slip that she loves this man.
I do love this man, I do.
What'd you say?
I didn't say nothing.
No, you wait.
I heard it.
I have to remind myself that she is leaning in, and I admire that. I really, really do. That's something that I need to work on. I look for issues and I'm like, well, I don't want to give myself fully because I see all these potential red flags and all this stuff, but she's really diving in head first. My concern is just the way that she presented it in the beginning, the fact that they've already matched before. And she was like, well, he's not awful looking. There was just things that makes me feel like the attraction isn't genuine for him, but she's doing a great job in just falling in and just letting it happen. So I have to commend her on that. I do. At the end of the episode, Justin was getting emotional over Ben and Morgan's relationship.
I experienced it so perfect. He wasn't necessarily cheated, but he was, not by the expert, by her.
You can't stop people from hurting by hurting for them.
I do love you, though.
Huh?
I love you.
Say that one more time.
Cry way too much, you cocoa melon face ass.
Listen. You cannot be the vigilante for everyone. You cannot be everyone's superhero, all right? Let them figure out their marriage. And I get it. It's hard to see your friend potentially be taken advantage of or commit to something under false pretenses, but you got your own marriage to worry about. And you don't know Morgan's side of the story. All he was given was Ben's side, which was misguided to begin with anyways. So I'm just like, you got to work on not having a bleeding heart. Not everything needs to have your full emotions and your full sympathy and everything, because that'll break you. You won't have enough to give to your own marriage because you're giving it to everybody else. Whew, it has been 30 minutes. We just got to rush through the after party stuff, y'all, because I can't be here forever. On the after party panel is Morgan, Mitch, and Stacia. Stacia says that there's nothing specific, even though I don't believe her, that's making her hold back from sex with Nate.
I've always just been really afraid of men's intentions before getting my emotions involved. Mm-hmm. So that's always been a fear of mine.
She claims that, Nate hasn't done anything to make me question his intentions. I just question men in general. I do get that. She did also say that in the episode. But, girl, there's more to the story. Just tell us. It's okay. Mitch admits that he did not handle the attraction situation with Kristen the right way. However, he denies that he was as eager as Kristen claims.
I don't know if I pounced like a tiger. We had the dinner. I kind of laid it all out there. A hug and a kiss goodnight kind of thing. That just sort of escalated. It just escalated. That's really all that happened.
Now, I don't know if y'all remember, but in last week's episode, after they got hot and heavy, he was basically saying, I'm a man, I have needs, you know? Like, she's a woman. Why not indulge? And then now in the after party, you're going to say you weren't that eager. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I think that... What do I think? I think he's taking a piss out of Kristen, honestly. I don't believe he's genuine with her. I think he wants to be married only because he doesn't want to actually put in the work of finding a partner and having to change his ways. He just thought this was going to be a mix and match situation, put two people together, she's going to be perfect, and I can still be the person that I am, and then have somebody who just gets plugged and played into my life. That's not how marriage works. Even if you found your partner on your own, there's going to be a lot of bending and conforming that he's going to have to do. Yeah, I don't like Mitch. That's the long and short of it. I just don't like Mitch. The ladies grill him on trying to look deeper than just a surface level, and he says that he's trying.
We all see her as this beautiful woman. How are you not seeing that?
Right. We know we're not going to get exactly what we want, right?
Yeah.
Why not just give it a chance to see where this might go?
That's a fair question. I'm doing everything I can to kind of rebuild what I kind of tore down. You know what I mean? And that's the best I can do.
Yeah. Now, being devil's advocate, even though the devil doesn't need one, looks are not everything. We all know this. However, looks are enough to determine whether or not you're actually going to pursue somebody. So, of course, somebody doesn't have to be a knockout for you to give them your time of day, but personality is not the first thing that everybody sees when they see somebody for the first time. So that attraction is important. Is it everything? No. Do looks fade? Yes. Is he stretching it? Yeah. I think Kristen is beautiful. She might not be his type that he imagined in his mind, but she's not a tree monster. So I'm with the women in that he does need to dig a little deeper, but they also need to realize that attraction is important. Morgan is questioned about the bachelor's and nursing situation, and she gets emotional about Ben insinuating that she's a liar.
It was like a white lie turns into a big lie, and it's gonna turn into more lies. I'm like, I'm not a liar. Half the world has an associate's degree in nursing, the other half has a bachelor's degree. I'm getting my bachelor's degree now, essentially to just advance my career.
End of the day, he could have taken a moment to ask for clarification or gone away, decompressed, processed the conversation he had, and then came back and resumed the conversation, especially because the day prior, or maybe earlier in that day, I don't quite remember, he had said, you know, we need to get to know each other deeply and have these intentional conversations, have an open line of communication. But then the first opportunity that you get, you just assume things about her and then start to spread something that isn't quite true. So I understand why she's getting emotional. Like, dang, I came in here with the best intentions and my person is already looking at me as a liar. Now I'm skeptical of you. Can I trust you? You know, like Ben made an issue that didn't have to be an issue. So I get why she was a little bit emotional about it. She also shared that Ben tried to get physical with her prior to the argument and that argument set them back. It's not like she was ready to have sex with him, but whatever readiness she had, it was less after that. Last but not least, the panel weighs on Justin's emotional breakdown over Ben and Morgan's marriage.
I see where the concern is coming from, but Ben needs to fight his own battles. He doesn't know the full story. He just knows the small information that Ben gave him.
Crying over Ben and Morgan's relationship after knowing the man for a few days is a bit much.
I didn't have that same reaction, but I don't fault Justin for caring about the well-being of his friend.
My opinion on the breakdown is that these big emotions can lead to a big heartbreak. So I don't want to say that he has to toughen up because I don't see anything wrong with sensitivity. It's just if you're unable to keep your emotions in check, there's potential for chaos. A lot of it too. So I'm just going to encourage some practice on emotional regulation. Because like I said, you just can't be a bleeding heart for any and everybody. It's going to take away from what you've got going on in your own life. Anyways, that's all we got for Married at First Sight. Damn, this was a long one. I'm so sorry. But there was actually a lot in this episode. I cannot lie. They did a good job in trying to fit in a lot of information. So as always, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.